Now, Mr. Jay.
Chairman Moran, members of the committee, thank you for holding this hearing on an important issue that virtually affects every consumer and business in America. My name is Dennis Jay, and I'm Executive Director of the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud. We were founded 24 years ago as a national broad-based alliance of the major stakeholders in the fight against fraud, and that includes consumers, government agencies, and insurance companies. And in fact, the four organizations represented at this table today all had a hand in founding our organization, particularly so with Consumer Federation of America. Our mission is to unite the forces in combating insurance fraud, while we also are involved in legislative advocacy on the state level, empowering consumers to help fight fraud, as well as conducting meaningful research. Mr. Chairman, as you said in your opening remarks, overall insurance fraud continues in the property casualty industry specifically, continues to be a drain on consumers and businesses in this country to the tune of tens of billions of dollars each year. And it's committed by organized rings, by professionals such as medical providers and lawyers, insurance agents, by home contractors, by body shops, as well as everyday Americans, our friends, co-workers, and neighbors. The schemes go beyond just inflating insurance claims. Some of them can leave businesses and consumers in financial ruin. Some can injure and even kill innocent consumers. Our submitted statement includes a comprehensive list of these scams and some of the ways that the fraud-fighting community is looking to counter them. During the last 20 years, property casualty insurers have helped counter the growing threat by establishing investigation units within their company and investing heavily in training and in technology. And on that last point, the sharing of claims data by these insurance companies has been absolutely essential in helping to detect fraud, especially some of the schemes by these organized criminal enterprises that are defrauding billions of dollars. I'd also like to mention that the property casualty industry also participates in the successful Healthcare Fraud Prevention Partnership. This is a collaborative effort in which Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, the VA, private health plans, and others share data and intelligence on crooked medical providers. To date, this effort, this public-private partnership, has saved over $300 million, and we just will continue to see good things from them in the future. However, the property casualty insurers are not allowed to access or to contribute to the data in this rich pool of anti-fraud information because of restrictions in HIPAA. And that's a shame, because we know that some of the fraudsters that are ripping off property casualty insurers are also defrauding Medicare, Medicaid, and vice versa. And I know it's beyond the jurisdiction of this committee, but at some point I hope Congress would take a look at that, and maybe we can resolve it at some point. On the state level, following up on Commissioner Doak, state legislatures really have come to the table and have enacted some very responsible anti-fraud initiatives. To date, all states but two have enacted specific fraud statutes to define insurance fraud and set penalties. 38 states have established anti-fraud units that investigate and prosecute insurance fraud. Many of them have police powers, and some of them have prosecutors within their departments that specifically only do insurance fraud, and that has really done a lot to help over the last few years. There's a high level of collaboration between these state agencies and insurance companies in fighting fraud, and that in part is spurred because most states do require insurance companies to report fraud and to sponsor active anti-fraud programs within the companies. However, after 20 years of increasing efforts to combat fraud, we're convinced that we're never going to arrest or convict our way out of this problem. More focus has to be on prevention and deterrence of insurance fraud. And public outreach programs, again, like the Commissioner mentioned, have been vital in helping to alert consumers about some of the scams that can impact them, and also help otherwise honest people understand that there's a high price to pay for committing insurance fraud. And the research that we've done and others have done demonstrates that these programs are powerful in helping to stop fraud, and we need many more of them. We use social media to try to engage consumers directly, and again, help to educate them about some of the scams. But also, we see on social media that people brag about committing insurance fraud. Some actually use social media, Facebook and Twitter, to solicit others to help them execute scams. We communicate with them too, and hopefully we'll have an impact on that. So at a time when the acceptance of unethical behavior seems to be increasing across the country, it's important that we have strategies that help to counter some of these trends. So in conclusion, while I think we've come a long way in recent years, insurers, state governments, even the federal government in combating fraud, and we need to be proud of that. We need to understand we're still a long ways away of turning the corner on insurance fraud, but we feel through continued collaboration and perhaps some of these prevention and deterrence efforts, we'll continue down the path of curbing insurance fraud and the associated costs to help save all Americans some money. Thank you.
Mr. Jay, thank you very much.